You're 4 behind still, and you're still sticking with me. That's we're at week 5, Aries. You got a little bit of time left. Time is ticking. Tick tock.
Yes, but I also can't just like if I truly don't think the other team's gonna win, then what do you want me to do? It's a death trap right there. I don't want to drop 5 down. RSG, it's a early smoke from either sides. We see this, of course, very often now. Just trying to get some vision out across the map. Nothing really seems too crazy, although... What? Roger that read. Okay, well, that's a very nice way to start the game for RSG.
Where did you want it? Oh, just on the high ground.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He had no information. Maybe the smoke aggressively and no one... I don't know. That's a tricky read to get. That UDV all went in the area.
There's a few, like... what's going on here?
Dude, double meld just takes LuziFy's health so far down.
Mm-hmm.
Can they... How much damage do they do to JG? Xiaoyu was in a very good position to cut off the stairway. Now xsilearn, the slight skilled up is enough damage to secure our first blood, and xsilearn is already off to a monster start on the Ember, and this is tricky. Like, the mid matchup can be a little bit Storm favored, but giving Ember a good start is always difficult. We've seen what xsilearn can do.
Oh, for sure. Have they... either team has blocked up that camp. I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like this is a pretty tradey lane anyway in mid, so they're probably not going to have too much of a luxury to be able to go off into the jungle and look to pull that one out. But even just that fight in the river ends up benefiting xsilearn, not just because of the first blood, but he had a magic stick purchased up, something that you want to get against a Storm Spirit anyway, but just with all that brawling that went on, he already had 3 charges when he came to lane.
Now, we've seen the Io paired with a lot of different heroes over the past months and honestly even years. I suppose this hero has been very strong for quite some time. Where do you put Ursa in that list of pairings?
It's okay, right? Like, you're always in the laning stage, especially this early on, going to put yourself into a little bit of an awkward spot if you're, for example, trying to dive a little bit deep. And Ursa's not one of those heroes that's able to quickly take away the enemy creep wave. So if you try and go for a kill early on with, you know, the increased movement speed Ursa loves to be able to trade, you're going to be inside of an enemy creep wave. And this early, you're going to end up taking a lot of damage, even with, you know, an Io looking to do that sort of thing with a lot of his regen. So it's a bit of a weird spot, right? I feel like when you're paired together with an Ursa, you need some other kind of slow or stun, and Io just doesn't provide that right now.
I think the only thing that has a little bit of synergy is just that bonus movement speed, but that's really it. Like you're saying, Io doesn't provide any stun or slow, and in this particular lane, I don't think the bonus movement speed matters because Xiaoyu could just spear him away. We see that's always one of the benefits of Amars into these strong melee lane dominators. As Roger top should end up going down. Rupido's got a very early level into the Dragon Tail, like we see often now on the Offlane Dragon Knights. There we go, first kill for UDV.
Only got the one deny up on the top side, but it was on a range creep, so MKS is feeling relatively okay about that. I'm sure he's communicating as well. Make sure you got a sentry when you come back to this lane. He's not doing it though on Roger, so that camp is going to remain blocked. This wave is now pushed down in a pretty safe spot for them, so not sure if that's exactly what MKS was wanting.
There one on the corridor.
The other thing as well, like,
Ben's got
I mean, he would have just... Okay, yeah, I feel like they're only going to get kills on this bottom side if you move out of position on Xiao Bonbon, and well,
he's done that
a little bit here.
Okay. How did he live? I thought that last little tick from the Furious Wipes was enough, and now Xiaoyu. Look at the kill on LuziFy, but a lot of resources expended between both sides.
You see what happens, right? Like, they dived a full creep wave and they just started hitting the eye when he cut so low.
Ooh, that's really low as well. Is he gonna go for this?
Coming for you.
It's like surely xsilearn gets it, but at the cost of his life. Oh no, is that what you tip him? Come on, Dylan.
I think if you get away, then you tip him.
But even it's a mental warfare. Like, I guess it's mental enough with diving a tower and sacrificing your life, but you add just a little extra on top of the tip.
Dire's middle tower.
True. And I mean, the fact that the entire creep wave went away underneath the tower, they still lose 2 creeps here on xsilearn, but he's going to be totally okay with that. He's nearly opened up a full level advantage. Actually, now he has against JG.
You know, trouble top. Another arcane bolt should do the trick, unless the nightmare is on point from Roger. Be cautious though of where he positions. You'd hate Teehee to break the salve, and he's going to do just that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Still getting the kill.
Something good may begin.
Nicely done. I thought there was some aggression bottom lane with Xiao Bonbon leaving. They're actually going to start to push Xiao Yu back now, but nothing crazy. In fact, they want to dive MKS. He too has got some fast enough movement speed with the early boots to be able to get away from any aggression.
And they're really trying to get aggressive here on Rupido. I don't know if you're going to be too successful in that. Level 4, 2 points in the Dragon's Blood. Still lacking a little bit of damage right now on RSG. They really need to make sure that a lot of these minus armor items are starting to come online. As xsilearn, he's got the Blightstone, he maxed out the Sleight of Fist. Against the Storm Spirit, I mean, Storm's got pretty good armor, so you're not going to get a good amount of value out of it, but been able to convert it into a couple of kills already.
Yeah, seeing that already RSG making a lot more emphasis on stacking up the triangle. Triple at the hard, I think a triple or quad at the ancients already, so even though Xiao Yu's getting bodied a little bit from this IO Ursa pairing, you know, he's still sitting pretty well in the last hits, all things considering, and they've also looking to enable the TA after the laning phase.
I could honestly even see xsilearn taking the hard camp, right? You just want to make sure that the one that is setting the tempo for you and taking a lot of attention away from the TA has as much as possible. And, you know, phase boots or corrosion, that's all he really needs to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's something we saw Polaris do through the early spring tour very well, where they gave the camp, the hard camp in particular, over to Lelouch, and it was mainly on the Pangoliers where we saw that just faster diffuser blade timing, and he could then make space for Natsumi to take the ancient stacks and just hit a ridiculous timing. Roger should go down in the river. JG was able to pick up the haste, although SeeL's going to step in. Might be a support trade, although xsilearn feels like he doesn't have the damage to kill off Teehee. It looks like Roger will end up going down without anyone to rectify the death.
Well, there's 4 rune. Able to claim him there, and
oh, there's some revenge now. Yeah, you got Xiao Bonbon nearby. Looks like going to try and pop the ink swell onto himself with a couple more right clicks. A high roll from Xiao Bonbon is enough to get the kill. Meanwhile, JG.
JG. So low.
Is he? He's under a ward. Oh no. You hate to see it. MK's position on the higher ground is again got enough attack range. And then xsilearn, yes sir, indeed. That's my kill. I'll take all the gold I can get.
He got the Orb of Corrosion now. He's going to be building into the phase boots. It's just so much damage early on. And again, like I said, the Mars, the TA, the Ember Spirit, they excel incredibly with a lot of this minus armor synergy that they've got coming through. So it just feels very simple the way that RSG are going to look to take a lot of these team fights as well as scale in terms of where on the map they're able to farm at certain periods of time.
So is this something you have to see UDV in particular itemize against? Like, is armor now a consideration, or even Ghost Scepters maybe for some supports?
Oh, it's rough, right? Because an IO doesn't really want to be able to buy that until like his 3rd item. We were talking about the power of something like Vision, right? To be able to enable the Storm Spirit to make sure that they're not going onto you. We've seen it a couple of times, and even though it's not got the best synergy as side, they're looking to maybe get a kill into Rupido here. Just level 1 Nightmare, not able to catch him. I was thinking maybe even a Helm of the Dominator for Teehee, honestly. Like, give some armor. That could be very effective.
Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They are actually bringing Xiao Yu as well. Has the arena. They're just going to try and focus down the bait, but they've got to be cautious about how much mana he uses for the kill. JG still holding some available. Going to turn back to his high ground, preventing RSG from pillaging the stack by the Ancients. JG doesn't really do much
look at
to
the
prevent
rotation.
this. Everyone's coming. Even LuziFy wants to give some more mana over to JG. He breaks the tether. Even Ken's gonna show up as well, but Roger falls. JG looking for more. The Arcane Rune paying massive dividends to UDV in the fight along the river. As Ken finds the one, but they've still got to be cautious about xsilearn. They're lacking the stuns. One more remnant available and in and out, but he doesn't make it on the high ground as xsilearn can still pogo stick away, but that means Bon is in a compromised position. He's going to look to utilize the Ink Spell to hold the back, just offering as a deterrent, but that does nothing as UDV find their 7th kill of the game.
That was 9 heroes in that team fight. Interrupt the salve at least. They're trying to catch out LuziFy here on the tail end, but a lot of this space. In the meantime, MKS is like, yeah, good job, boys. I'm just going to sit in the jungle. I'm going to push the lane a little bit and overtake the top of the net worth charts. I mean, UDV had to do it, right? They couldn't let them take this this triangle area of farm. Have that information advantage from having the high ground ward during that entire time. And have those bounties not been picked up at all?
Where are we
It's
looking?
scared because Ken just got 3 in a row next to the
true.
Radiant Outpost.
I suppose not. Well, I guess I don't really hear that. Treks from like bot to mid in a rotation or even checks the runes as well. And we saw Grimstroke, if he was doing any rotations, it was kind of towards a triangle to start making stacks. So, so interesting.
Radiant's middle tower.
I thought JP might have taken it, just shove out the wave a little bit with the static remnant, go back, take it, and use that extra mana maybe to take one of these camps, but I guess not. Yeah, I'm interested to see, because we haven't really seen too much of the Helm of the Dominator builds in Southeast Asia, right? In Eastern Europe for sure, in China for sure, but on a Skywrath who has terrible armor against a lot of this physical
Okay. First one of the game. Excellent. And Roger still nearby. The Storm Spirit's in trouble, and RSG blow up the Storm before UDV can utilize all his mana pool. And now Xiaoyu's got the ultimate available. They might not need it. Although a good relocate out to safety still puts Ken in a bit of a compromised position without the Eye being nearby, but Xiaoyu unable to land the arena on the other side of the tree line, so Ken gets away a 1-for-1, but you still do lose JG on the Storm.
Is JG. Good TP up towards the top side from the Grimstroke. Now respawning, just keeping this wave as shoved out as he can, but with the Siege Creep and the Elder Dragon form, isn't going to be able to do much. It was a cool attempt trying to go on to Ken there, just because, you saw the relocate was used. So close to being able to clip him there with the Arena of Blood. And, well, with the Arena off cooldown, they're thinking, all right, well, let's just look to push this one into Roshan. I've got an IO, I've got a Morbid Mask, I've got a Blade of Alacrity already. So this is going to be a pretty decent timing. Might even get the Diffusal Blade alongside this.
And they've got the DK Blink flying out in the corridor as well. So if there is any contention, you're going to have Rupido jump into Mystic Flare, which that death on the Storm Spirit, I really feel like UDV don't care about. Yes, they traded a position 2 for support, but that gave a free tower to the Dragon Knights. Xiaoyu's going to run straight to the combo with the Mars. Evaporates under the threat of the damage. Are they finding another?
Yeah, so I feel like now it's gotten to the stage, with the Storm Spirit being that, what they found here, xsilearn regen bottom anyway, of course he does. It's gotten to that stage of the game where you need to be conscious now of the timings around this Blink Dagger. Obviously, they just have a reveal and they get an important kill with it. But where is the DK? Where is the Skywrath Mage? Or even just where is Storm Spirit? Where is Skywrath Mage, right? Because you are very capable of dying consistently in a lot of these engagements. So I feel like if RSG give up too many of those kills, where they're not either farming under vision or they don't know where these two heroes are, then you're going to need to look to address that somewhat.
Ken just picked up the Diffuser Blade, so a free kill onto the Grimstroke. Unfortunately, wasn't there fast enough to protect the ward, but the Ursa now has this big item, which looks like a very good Diffusal game. You got the attack modifier to be able to have that extra attack versus the Refraction. Mars and Ember both rely on mana pretty heavily, and they don't have the greatest mana pool, so yeah, big fan of it.
Looks like they want to fight though on RSG. A Blink Dagger pickup coming through from the TA instead of, more of the sustained damage that comes through with something like that Desolator. Oh, he got it delivered. Doesn't join in with this smoke here on MKS. Might look to use himself as bait. just used as follow-up.
I don't know. JG is so difficult to kill. And they're going to use an early relocate, thinking the speed found the connection. Xiaoyu doesn't have a blink to enter the fight, so Rupido's going to try and bring him down to star. A great nightmare gives the life a little bit longer, but it will not matter as Ken has already stacked up the Fury Spipes and RSG. And all things considering, they still were able to kill the Storm Spirit off to the side, so a successful skirmish, and they're looking to jump. Blink back up shortly for MKS. He doesn't get the Ink Spell stun, but it will not matter as they overwhelm Rupido by the bottom outpost. And look at Roger. He's even looking for a +1, but unable to run into Ken.
Yeah, unfortunately for JG, he was...
Dire's top
he took 8 tower hits when he looked to die there. That plus a TA coming in with that fresh blink, getting the meld strike off, plus one other right click. It was enough to be able to take him down. So yeah, it's a decent use of your timings. Of course, again, Xiaoyu hasn't been able to get off that great use of the Arena of Blood. So they're just like, look, I'm so close to being able to pick up this blink dagger. Let's just look to prioritize it. And
for me, this game, I actually hold that thought as Teehee and Rupido once again in conjunction. So when they're able to target the Bane, there will be no way to break the Mystic Flare combo. But towards the tail end of the draft, I was saying that I feel like UDV have pretty rough team fight, but I think their lineup really relies on pickoffs. When do you see RSG being able to hit their timings together to be able to just force 5-on-5 fights? Is there a particular timing, or is it still going to be quite some time away?
Oh, it's not a long time away at all, as actually, I was thinking xsilearn might even look to commit a little bit stronger into the Ursa, but I suppose with that Aegis still having a minute and a half left on it, not going to want to go through with the risk. I mean, you're 150 gold away from the Maelstrom on xsilearn. You've got Blink Daggers on the TA and the Mars now. Maybe just wanting to wait until TA has Deso, but you're still waiting for 2,000 gold, so that's what, 2-3 minutes. I feel like they could certainly look to make something happen now without the TA.
And is this full 5-on-5 fights, or they're just looking for pickoffs, you feel like, even with this item?
I mean, they haven't been able to get any towers yet, so I feel like they might just look to try and continuously play around these siege wagons. They've still got one in the mid lane. It's like that's where they're looking to hang around, although Bane and Mars come off to the side, maybe trying to protect the TA from any kind of pick-off that they're looking to go for onto them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Looks like they've TP'd out a bottom though, as xsilearn's gonna run into the combo! That's a huge kill to get. Second death of the game. He's been such a thorn in the side of UDV.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He was just able to buy the Javelin before he died, so he didn't end up losing.
Blink away from MKS to serve the Aegis for another 30 seconds, but the rest of the team will not connect, as meanwhile mid, Xiaoyu just a quick and easy kill for the arena, so they will catch out Teehee.
Alright, so now you're definitely waiting that extra minute or so, because with all that time, TA has been able to get so close to being able to pick up that Desolator for herself. You're not going to have the Arena of Blood for the next minute or so, so why not, you know? A very small time investment now that the last 2 rotations have really worked out amazingly for you. I mean, at least you still get the bottom tower, I suppose, and mid tower is still sitting incredibly low, that any kind of successful team fight that comes after this is just going to transition very easily into another objective for yourself.
See though, in our game 1, 13-11, only 1,000 advantage for UDV at this stage, and see how that form in their prior series versus Talon is able to continue into this series. They've been the only team that have been able to topple Talon at least in one match.
So,
and
just look bot.
Yep.
We got another engagement.
Nice timing with the slide. Is instantly able to dodge that. And Dire is starting to connect bottom if they want to continue with the fight. Fiend's going to hold back the dragon out of xsilearn. Prevents the blink on Ken, so he can't cancel the Bane's ultimate. As Radiant, they're looking to retreat away from the area. Ken's going to TP out. Rupido stuck in the tree line. A relocate down from LuziFy, but I don't think the Eye can really do much to keep Rupido alive. A couple of seconds until the back up, but and he's not fast enough, as now that's an extra kill to add to the tally.
Again, that's those tiny things, right, that just work out really well. They should know that they've got vision up here, and yeah, there we go. Xiao Bonbon looks to get rid of it, but just really quick fingers there on xsilearn. Even if he didn't have them, though, Bane was sitting alongside him. So
JG?
the fact that they...
Well, he gets caught by Roger by the outpost. This has to be perfect. They're gonna have Xiao Bonbon TP first. Tries to target the Phantom's Embrace, and xsilearn a little bit too late to land the chains.
Flames will spread thrice.
But yeah, Bane was sitting alongside the Ember Spirit there, right? So he was still there to be able to use the Nightmare to be able to save from any kind of engagement. I still feel like they need some kind of vision, man. Like, you need to know exactly where this Bane is. Skywrath, I'm not exactly sure what Sky's building into. He's got 3 Null Talismans, a Boots of Speed. He's not scaling anywhere near as well as the Grimstroke. Look at Grimstroke's net worth. He's got a crazy amount, especially when compared to his Mars. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's got the ability to shove out waves very effectively with a Stroke of Fate. He's taken on that role a little bit because Bane absolutely sucks at doing that. But I really want to see the Helm of the Dominator come out for Teehee. I feel like it provides him a lot. Survivability in team fights and that vision that they're lacking.
Do you feel like Sky as a hero in general just revolves around snowballing with pickoffs?
Oh, so sorry. Just a bit of a rotation come through here.
LuziFy's killed off Xiaoyu. It was a nice Nightmare to the spear connection. xsilearn's still looking for a further brawl. Rupido to jump. Roger's got the Nightmare. And Xiaoyu's going to try and take up the missing floor. The best of his possibility. Once again, the Fiend's Grip. They need a way to cancel this. A double Inksfall, providing the extra stun they need to get rid of the life of JG. And now MKS is going to show up to the tail end of the fight. A blink to the west, targeting Rupido. The Dragon Tail to hold back the Templar Assassin. In the end, it's RSG that comes out on top, but UDV, they want to get back, they want to fight some stragglers, and they do just that. Roger to fall, but Peter, though, still in trouble, with MKS just freely right-clicking to the north of this fight. There's nothing they can do to enter the Templar Assassin. A blink back in from Xiaoyu over the tree line. It's all on LuziFy for the reeler. Get out, but he's too late. As Ursa, another casualty of war as RSG continue their dominance.
Oh, it's still going to be another 2 minutes until that Roshan, at least. Of course, T8 having that level of information, but again, SeeL, what a god. Sorry, not SeeL. Roshan. Oh, I'm forgetting him.
We're so used to SeeL through,
right? On the Bane in particular as well, right? Just the Nightmare, super on point, able to tank up half of that damage. They need to commit so much more to be able to catch out the Ember Spirit as well. Yeah, the physical damage really starting to come to the fore now for RSG. Just a simple right click and God's Rebuke able to melt these supports on UDV's side. But even the Fiend's Grip, right? They used everything. They wanted to get all of that extra burst damage through, and they had no way to interrupt the almost full Fiend's Grip that came through there.
It was as full as you goddamn needed it. From Roger, I think there was a triple Inkswell actually towards the end, which was a little bit of extra stun. Storm, I mean, we see he's still third in net worth. It's even though he's got 7 deaths onto JG, but really needs to find this BKB just to have a little bit more of a free fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like where RSG is looking to play around, right? Like, this is frequent smoke. It's exactly what UDV need to do, right? They just go smoke on smoke on smoke on smoke. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out amazingly for them, right? It needs to be a pick-off into an objective. And right now, it feels like they're getting a pick-off, but then RSG, it's early on, so they're just respawning and then looking to counter a lot of that.
Xiaoyu
has to be careful, but again, look at Roger. His positioning is good.
One priority.
Working back into them.
Actually gonna look to jump MKS, forcing out some reactions. Xiaoyu trying to find the eye on the side, but unable to get the spear before that tether away.
There's still a couple of heroes within the smoke here as the supports look to make their rotation up towards the top side. You generally know Dragon Knight is where the Skywrath is going to be looking to play somewhat around as Roger's smoke pops. Going to be on the Skywrath mage, so they think that he's still hanging around this area. Look at that. Placing down the sentry, the traps.
Oh, okay. I was like, is Rupido going to get greedy for this Fireball Dragon Breathe and then get away? But he makes it anyway.
Oh, the Lincoln Sphere. Okay. Seeing that one instead of the BKB, and why not, right? As long as you're not getting caught out by that Vortex into Mystic Flare or the Dragon Tail into Mystic Flare, you're feeling pretty happy. And again, with that TA trap vision, you're the first ones that have any kind of knowledge about this Roshan to be available. And MKS, he's waiting in the shadows right now until some kind of information is revealed about UDV's positioning. Right now, they can only really see Ken. They seem kind of low mana, so maybe that'll give them the incentive to want to go for it, and yep, they do.
really don't know how UDV can take team fights though. I feel like Dire have such an overwhelming round of heroes that can excel in that area, whereas Radiant, again, they really rely on getting pickoffs and being 4,000 gold behind and now having the Aegis, which just incentivizes RSG to group as 5 and take objectives.
And that all-important second Aegis as well, right? You're an Ursa. You need that Aghanim shard to be able to kickstart your effectiveness in team fights quite effectively. Instead, MKS picks it up. More vision going for them. Yeah, bonus 4 traps. Silence can be very nice when going up against that IO.
Dire's bottom tower.
I think we're looking at BKBs now for Radiant, which just got doubled. If they can get the Arcane Rune as well, would be very handy for JG through this next team fight.
They're very close to picking up Dragon Knights as well. It's like they're just saying, look, we're going to lose a little bit. It is what it is. Let's just make sure that we're ready for the next team fight. But that's going to be at least a minute or so away. So the question for me is, how much of the map is RSG going to be able to take away from them in the meantime?
It's also how much of the BKB is really going to protect them. Because we were mentioning, like, do you think about itemizing for armor this game?
Mm-hmm. Physical damage is still quite there as Skywrath just picks up a Ghost Scepter. That's going to be where Teehee thinks he's going to be able to survive a lot of this threat engagements. Is that
such an aggressive passing? He's going to jump in front of the Ursa. Doesn't get the BKB off too late, but it doesn't matter. It's a Fiend's Cube once again. Roger is doing God's work this game on the Bane. And now Xiaoyu still got the arena to play with, so locks it in, forcing out the BKBs on UDV just so they can escape the walls. xsilearn playing with an Arcane, his BKB soon to expire. Do they jump back in? They do just that. Xiaoyu spears enough damage to go through the Ghost Scepter. The 2-for-0 traders, now they can go back to find the tier 2 tower.
They almost get off that relocate onto the Ursa, which would have made things okay, but to be fair, RSG didn't really look to commit all that much other than the Fiend's Grip to be able to pick up that Ursa pick-off there. And, well, just one of those things that ends up costing them. It's a small decision to go outside the base when you still had a little bit of time left.
Did they kill DK?
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't have BKB. xsilearn's going to fly on over. Who also doesn't have BKB. Radiant all about to respawn. Xiao use the target onto the back line, but the Glimmer King protecting him for the moment. Looks like he's stuck in a fireball. He can't get the Blink of A. Now they've also found the Grimstroke. A really good start to the fight for UDV, but they've blown everything to just get these 2 kills, so they will not be able to further the fight into more of an advantage afterwards.
And just a tiny bit sloppy as well. I mean, for me, it doesn't really feel like RSG need to, you know, go for those tier 2 dives. Obviously feeling very strong at this stage with the Aegis, but just take the tier 2 tower. It was sitting right there. You've got the Desolator, and it enables the rest of the team to actually follow up. I'll tell you the amount of times that he is a POS 5 main, and my teammates like dive super deep tier 3, and I'm like, guys, I can't run past a tower. I'm gonna melt. Oh, Roger?
Yeah, Roger's been caught out. LuziFy's been caught out as well. I don't know who's really the one that's more in trouble. Well, it looks like they both are now. Roger, why is he doing this? It's so punishing to UDV when they can't deal with the Bane. And now Ken, he doesn't have a TP, so he can't BKB TP out, but just relies on the blink.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I mean, he doesn't have it in Rage, you don't have a Storm Spirit, no Skywrath, you don't really want to buy back on an IO, not going to have that huge level of impact here. And just using the offensive glyph to make sure that creeps, that is probably the one area that you're lacking a little bit. Something to be able to tank up a lot of these tower hits, but now that Xiaoyu's there, very easy to quickly look to take away a lot of this. And again, it goes back down to the draft, right? We were talking about it. They've got great pickoff, and to be fair for UDV, they went for a lot of those engagements, but just the positioning of Roger almost every single time was on point to make sure that they didn't actually lose that much from a lot of those early rotations.
Roger has been phenomenal this game. You mentioned very early on that was #1 priority for Radiant. They had to kill the Bane, otherwise these Nightmare saves were just too impactful. And Now we're starting to see what the Fiend script can do as well. If Radiant, they blow their Vortex or their Dragon Tail or even their Silences. But meanwhile, Ursa mid lane, he's also been caught out. UDV has an opportunity to try and turn this around. That massive amount of heals for the Ursa. They baited out some early abilities since Roger's caught in the backline for JG. With the help of Rupido, he's able to bring down the huge X factor on RSG, but multiple buybacks. Both the supports on RSG wanting to put UDV in the grave off the back of that fight.
I mean, the mid wave's pushed in, I suppose, so you're not going to have that backdoor protection, still wanting to make use of the double damage, hoping that UDV were having to buy out for that previous engagement. But and if you do look to re-engage here, what are you going to have? No Elder Dragon Fall for another 30 seconds, no BKBs for a little bit of time as well, so RSG just feel like they're able to take this, and they only expended support buybacks as well for it, so they're not going to be feeling too sore about it all.
Dragonite, nice initial setup as Yao. You can push him closer to the hands of MKS. Godlike streak for the carry of RSG, and more of the base to pillage afterwards.
Vision, vision, vision. They only just now put down that sentry ward. They're just like, man, this TA just feels like she sees everything.
Kins pop, Xiao once again with the speed, pushing the Storm Spirit away from his teammates, just breaking the formation that UDV are looking to play with another double Fiend scoop onto both the courts as MKS slicing them apart one by one with the side blades, and they've had enough as RSG continue their reign of supremacies. They'll take game one 30 minutes in.
Roger, he was constantly, and for whatever reason, it just feels like UDV never seemed to